So just in case
Yeah.
people don't know, we work at University of Chester together, Lee and I. And yeah, Alex Foster, he does a lot of DJ stuff with Instagram Live. So there's a lot of musicians that are doing not rap battles, but you can do a thing where you do an Instagram Live and you can invite someone to a chat. So when Chris and I did a chat a couple of weeks ago on a live thing, we had a few questions about the festival and that. And yeah, if Alex Foster's been doing that with some of his music stuff, so that's been quite interesting.
With him, mate. I'll speak with him. I didn't realise you were recording, Alex. I'm sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Right, let's start again.
Sorry. Yeah, we can start again. Yes.
No. I didn't.
Yeah. I don't want to subject you to something.
Mate, I've got a whiskey on the go and everything. I went to get a beer.
No. This is all it's supposed to be, mate. Is a conversation. There's no
right. Okay, mate.
If I look at the cameras out so often and say something like, "You see more of a show thing," don't worry about.
Can I minimise his settings bit? You know where it says where I can see myself.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit off-putting.
Yeah, it's this is all very informal, and obviously I know you a lot more than pretty much everyone else in the festival. So yeah, this is just a chat, mate, about.
Are we just going to pretend that we don't know each other? Or
no, not at all. Like this little BS banter. Yeah. That's gonna be included as well.
Am I allowed to swear, or is that?
You can swear whatever you want, mate. Yeah. The last podcast we just filmed was with a 10-year-old, her mother, a actress in Canada, and so they were in Canada. I was in the UK, and the writer and editor is in South Africa. So it was completely mad.
Yeah,
it was good fun doing though. It's been crazy. 10 years old. Yeah, she's an actress. There's a lot of kind of child actors and performers that are making films with their parents and that and submitting them to festivals. Like there's a big festival in Canada called the Isolation Short Film Festival. So we've had a positive knock-on effect from that. We've had a lot of people submit to ours as well because it's similar wording, similar hashtags. So we've had a good knock-on from that. So we've just had another submission today. So we've got 49 now,
wow,
and that's from another. Yeah, it's great, man. That's another child actor from Canada. I'm sorry, I'm turning and coughing, but bloody hell!
No, it's all right, mate. You haven't got the coronavirus, have you?
No, I better not, because my missus...
they say that's one of the symptoms, don't they?
Oh, my God, yeah.
Dry, tickly cough.
I've been so stuck indoors like you have, so it's highly unlikely.
No, you'll be fine. You know what? I've had it. No, I don't think I've had.
You've had a cough or something.
I've had the cough. And I thought I could have had it. Who knows, mate? You can't get tested. So
well, there's a lot of things, and this is just from what I've read and looked online. You can be asymptomatic as well, so you can have it and not show any symptoms.
Just sort of pass the symptoms on and not sort of show
exactly.
Any symptoms.
So it's a tricky time. It's a tricky time, and it's I honestly feel. I think you feel the same as well, that we're in a privileged position. We're both still working as well. Both still got an income because so many people have lost their jobs. And it's very tricky, man. And our jobs are completely changed. I was saying to Tegan and the other people on our last podcast that we were doing a lot of video and photography. You predominantly do video at work, and it's now we're doing tech support and telephone support, and I don't mind that at all.
The video stuff is really picking up as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you think, oh, it's not the typical video stuff, but it's creating. It's like so it's creating a different workflow, and our skills have increased in different ways as well. Like what we've learned, you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. But there's a lot of people doing these sorts of stream recordings and then saying, "Oh, can you just blur out this name?" Or it's quite frustrating stuff because it's not very interesting, but it's sort of it's quite time consuming to download it and then re-upload it.
It is. That's the big knock-on effect, isn't it? Is the downloading and re-uploading and
with slow internet speeds at home as well.
Yeah, so. I was looking. I don't know if you've looked at a service called Frame.io, and it basically allows you to upload a video. Say you were a producer and I made a film for you, and you wanted to see it. What's the most efficient way? Normally, we'd go into an office or meet up. We'd go through it and all that, or you send email notes over. Now, Frame.io is like having a simplified editing interface where I can show the work to you, and on any point with occurs on any frame, a note can pop up like a marker, and you can see them. So say if you zoomed out of the timeline for Frame.io, you'd say 12 markers, and there are 12 comments.
Right. Okay.
So they can give you directions.
It's a Word document, but it's
exactly, yeah. And it's compatible with Premiere. Resolve's just got it recently as well.
Right. Final Cut Pro as well.
Yeah, I think it's something that we could possibly look at. It's a paid service.
Yeah.
I think it's worth having a little look at, because it allows for immediate revisions.
And if you're doing a lot of collaborative projects, then it comes into its own. Definitely.
Yeah, like that video I was telling you about earlier, the ABBA health and social care video, and it was trainee nurses doing an ABBA video, Super Trooper, because that's the hashtag that's used by the University of Chester for their students working with the NHS. So that was what was I trying to say? That was the collaborative nature of that. It wasn't Frame.io, but when we had a meeting, and it was someone from SMT, there was Heather, there was Alex Williams, and all of that. Yeah. It was something I'll cut out, by the way, is anything that sounds too suspect about work, I'll cut out. But this is fine. This is a positive thing. This little micro conversation is going to get cut out. But yeah, in that meeting,
cut that beginning bit out as well, if you want. But I'll leave it to your discretion.
Yeah, whatever's best for both of us.
If I start mooning or anything like that.
Oh yeah, some streaker comes past. Yeah. So in that meeting where we both work, when I produced this video, and I did spend 6.5 hours doing it at least, and I was like, all right, okay.
You were meant to.
I was fine. I accept. I said to Heather, I was happy to do it, which is absolutely true. So when we came to the meeting, and it was someone from SMT, someone from marketing, Heather, and one or two of the other people that were in it, it was a unique situation, and I had not an epiphany, but it was when we have these meetings like you and I do in our team at university, you almost feel as though you've got to step up, and you've always got to have something to say. And I don't think, we're forcing things to say when we have our meetings, but I think it gives people a lot more freedom.
Formal, you mean?
I think it allows people to have they feel freer to speak as well, I think, in a strange way, because they are at home or remote. Yeah. So
should be. I think people are in the comfort zones, aren't they, at home? And they feel a little bit more confident, possibly.
So I think, I see this being a positive thing. Like, we can have our meetings at work. I know it's not a work podcast, but we can have our work meetings, and other people can. And I think it works just as well, if not better, in certain circumstances. Like if someone's in another campus or whatever, or somewhere else, we can remote in. We know it works. We know it works 100%. Yeah. So I think there's definitely positives in the working environment, but it's difficult. It's a difficult process for anyone working at home, isn't it? Going from an office-based thing.
Let's just hope that in the future that we're going to be able to work from home a little bit more, and that they've seen that we can do it.
Absolutely,
so, it's good. It cuts down on travel costs and pollution and time. I think it's quite a good thing. I mean, you can't do it all the time, obviously, but
do you know what I found? One of the
could be a day a week or something.
Exactly. One of the nicest things I found is when I've stepped outside. And because I'm doing this as well as work, it's I don't step outside very often. I was clearing the gutters. I was clearing the gutters in the house yesterday, so it was. I actually really enjoy doing that. I know it's ridiculous, but I really enjoy doing it.
Go on.
It's the lack of noise. It's the lack of noise outside. Fewer cars, virtually no planes in the air. It's so nice.
Very, very noticeable, Alex, isn't it? The lack of cars on the road and no planes in the sky, and even I went to the supermarket the other day. It's a treat just to go out of the car now, isn't it? Miss this. It's like every day is it in the house. It just does your head in after a while, mate. So it's nice to.
It's weird, isn't it?
Just get out and do something different. But
I even washed my car. I did it.
For mine as well. I changed the battery in it because that died on me as well. But it is nice to get out. But
oh,
yeah, I
did
mean,
your battery die because it was idle for so long?
A bit of both, because of that, and I've never changed it. I mean, the car's from 2004,
I see.
and the battery's never been changed, so it was well overdue. Yeah, I'm surprised it's lasted this long, to be honest. But
yeah. So I obviously, for anyone else watching, some of these names, they're people that Lee and I work with. Lee Border, he said that during one of the Instagram meetings, because I do some work for a subgroup for the university, is if you don't go out for at least 15 minutes in your car, it doesn't power the alternator or something, he was saying. So even if you go out for a couple of minutes, it's not enough. You've got to go out for at least 15.
Definitely, mate.
Short
journeys are bad for a car, aren't they? You need to do long runs, motorway runs, ideally. But I mean, that's what I mean. I went to, I think I went to Morrison's in Wrexham. It was just that little bit further, but just the car.
Spoil yourself.
I've got to push the boat out, mate. You know, next week it's Aldi.
Yeah.
Back to
wear your finery. Yeah. Wear your finery, Lee. Your top hat and that, and go into Aldi. But what I want to ask you, I've never really asked you this before, is because these are it's all relatively simple and all friendly and all that. And is when did you first start doing making videos, and was it something that's always been of interest to you?
Well, I was always into sort of geeky, techie sort of stuff like sound and video, and then when I went to college when I was like 16, so I did GCSEs, went straight to college, and I did a media course at college, and I did like TV, I did radio and sound and all that sort of stuff, and I just got into it from there, really. And then I went on to university. I did an HND in sound and video, and then sort of after I'd finished that, some mates of mine, they were DJing in a club in Birmingham, and I went along with a video camera, and I filmed the night, and I did an edit and I sent it to them, and they were like, "Wow, that's really good. It makes the club look excellent." And then I just did more and more, and then I got asked to do a couple of weddings. And then I was getting asked to do more different sort of diverse shoots.
So a lot of word of mouth.
And it was like word of mouth, like friends, and I just, it was an interest of mine, and I just got into it that way. And then I got a job at the University of Chester, early 2000s, as an AV assistant. And then I met a couple of guys there who were like video people, worked in broadcast, and I learned a lot from them. They taught me, pretty much everything I needed to know about sort of dealing with clients and all the pressures of like being on a filming job and then turning around an edit. And I got sort of quite into it at that point, because sort of prior to that, I'd say I was maybe more into like the audio sort of side of things, and then I sort of got a bit of a passion for video, and then it sort of all sparked from there, really. So
outside of work for University of Chester, what kind of video work do you prefer shooting?
So
if it wasn't budget related, what's the kind of ideal thing to shoot?
Yeah, I've always wanted. I've sort of meddled with shooting like horror and a few other sort of genres like that. So I would like to sort of maybe shoot something a little bit more, down those sorts of lines. But I'll shoot anything. If someone sets me that challenge and says, I want my wedding to be filmed, or I want a corporate program, then I'll do it, and I'll give it 100%. So I'd like to think that I'd turn my hand at sort of any sort of filming job.
That's cool, man. Yeah, you have to send me that link again of you and Alan going up Snowdon, because the reason I love that video so much is it might not be something you see in it. It feels like there's going to it's leading up to something horror based, but it's just two guys. It's almost like two characters that you've created in a way.
Yeah.
So for people that don't know what we're talking about, it's like how would you describe that video I'm talking about?
Well, basically, I'm into like walking up mountains. A guy at work, he's the same. So we said, we're going to go walking at Snowdon, and Alan had just brought himself a brand new video camera. So he said, I'm going to get some footage while we're up here. And at the time, I thought he's been a pain in the arse, because, I just wanted to walk up the mountain, and every half an hour he's like, right, stop, we need to get this shot. And then,
is that what it was? Alan bought a camera, right?
Yeah, Alan had bought the camera, and at the end of it he said, Lee, I know you do a little bit of video stuff. Would you mind editing it for me? So I said, yeah, why not? I just got into Final Cut Pro at the time. And yeah, I thought, I'm going to have some fun with this. So I got some music, put some titles in there and stuff. And we turned it into a bit of a comedy thing. And then we uploaded it to YouTube, and then it turned it into this 10-minute program about two guys who walk up Snowdon and then back down again. But when we got to the bottom, I think we missed the bus, so we had to walk all the way back to the car, which was another, I think it was about 6 miles further, back to the car. So it was a bit of a killer. And we've documented this whole thing on video. So if anyone wants to watch it, it's on there.
We'll put a link. We'll put a link in the description. The reason I really enjoy that is because it was a different side that I saw of you and Alan that I work with, and Alan's left now. He's just retired. It's as though you've got two characters, and it's not really you two guys. And I know that's not necessarily the intent, and you didn't seek out to make a piece of fiction, but that's why I'm entertained by it, because like when we made this festival, Chris Berry from the University of Chester as well. I love narrative, I love fiction, and I that's why I get this enjoyment out of watching that video, because it's funny. I know you two guys very well.
I think we definitely played it to the camera, and I thought, we just had a bit of fun with it. It was basically a bit of a laugh, and it was that good that a couple of years later we made a sequel to it. So we did another mountain in Snowdonia. And we thought we'd make a sequel, but we just had a real good laugh doing it. And awesome. It's something we really enjoy, walking and being out in the countryside. And,
is that something you enjoy because you've got a little girl now? So is that something you enjoy with the three of you walking and that kind of thing? Or is that
I'd like to say yes, but I think when she's a little bit older, then definitely. But she's of that age at the minute where she wants to walk, but she'll walk for a few meters and then she'll want to be carried, So trying to
don't we all
take her up Snowdon? Not only would it be dangerous, but I think it would take me about 2 days, to get to the top.
Oh my God,
so maybe in the future you can get carriers and stuff, but we thought it might be a little bit dangerous, trying to take a baby up a mountain. It's quite rocky and unstable in a carrier.
Or possibly on the train or something. You go.
Maybe on the train, definitely. But it's so expensive, that train, isn't it? So maybe after the lockdown, we'll do.
So what I wanted to I know I've mentioned this before, that I wanted to bring it up. You've recently passed your PFCO, and that's the UK equivalent of basically you're a pilot now with your drone.
So it's like a commercial operations license. So I'm now a certified drone pilot, and it was a 2-day course I did, or a 3-day course actually that I did. And you do like a theory test and a practical. It's a bit like a driving test in that respect. but I'm now certified to fly drones, so I can not only fly drones for recreational use, but I can do commercial jobs. So I can charge people for the footage. I suppose that there's a whole raft of jobs that I could do, from weddings.
Yeah, it gives you a lot more freedom how you can shoot and where you can shoot. That's right, isn't it?
Definitely, and I've only recently got my drone. Actually, it's this.
Oh, nice. What have you got?
I don't know if you can see there, but it's a Mavic 2, which is it's been out for a couple of years now. So I bought this just before the lockdown.
Sweet.
Just before I did the PFCO course, but I did the course in March, and then it was like a couple of weeks later that the whole sort of coronavirus spiraled and the lockdown kicked in. So
it's put everything on pause, hasn't it? Work,
definitely,
life in general, sport, anything really.
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying to myself, we're lucky we've all got our health, and none of us are being affected by it. We don't know anybody personally who's been affected by it, which is good, I suppose. But
so have you managed?
A big
so
thing.
what? Since you bought it, have you managed to tell me about tell me about your first experience flying your drone and filming with that?
The first time I took it out, I was terrified. I thought I was going to crash it. In fact, it was before I did the course. I wanted to get some practice. I bought it, about 3 days before I took the course. So I thought I better get out and practice using it before. I don't want to look like an idiot on this course and not know how to fly it. But yeah, I think we flew it inside, and when you fly them inside,
so where did you? Sorry to cut you off. Where did you fly inside? Was it sports hall or something?
It was going to be in the sports hall, and then we got kicked out of the sports hall because there was a double booking, which
I see. Yeah.
Know about. So we ended up doing it in the small hall, which is another building at the university.
Yeah. And you were being supervised by someone that's already a pilot.
I was with a colleague of ours, Chris, who's got the older version of this drone.
Oh, you've paused there a little sec. Wait till you come back. Sorry, just pause there, mate.
Is that the?
Don't
over 40 minutes, isn't it?
No, don't worry about that. It's just your connection, but it's not a problem. It comes up with a little counter at the top when I've got 40 minutes. They did unrestrict it for a while where you could go on for hours, but
it's back to 40 minutes now.
Yeah, so that's a nice healthy amount anyway. Anyway, you were saying that you went to a different building to do test flying.
Yeah. So we flew it in this building, but obviously being inside, there's no GPS, which means that the drone can sort of drift from left to right and stuff. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking, taking it out for the first time. But it's completely rock solid when you're flying it. It's so stable. So it's really, really easy to fly. In the past, I've had one of these like toy drones, which is the slightest little bit of wind and it's
gone.
Away. It's
like a fart in the wind. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So in comparison to that, this is just so easy to fly. It's like a dream to fly this.
So now you've purchased that and you're fully certified, which is fantastic. And I need to get off my arse and finish mine. I've got my training book here. Now the time's to do it, for God's sake. Do you see? Yeah. So from your, I'm going to say limited experience because you've only had a short period. It's not like a slant on you, but do you see now you've done your PFCO, now you've had some practice and you're enjoying it and you've submitted a view from above for our festival. Do you kind of see the benefit and how you can elevate your own freelance work now?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I had a couple of jobs booked in for this year, but with the whole pandemic thing, one of them has already been postponed until the following year, which is a wedding. The other one was meant to be in July, so that's all a bit up in the air. It's probably not going to go ahead because it's a big festival that we film every year in Blake. But definitely, I mean, it's not only is it something that I can use in my freelance work, and also my work at Chester University. But it's just something that's great fun to go out and fly. It's like,
absolutely,
I'm a bit like a big kid, and I've got this like quadcopter, and I really enjoy going out with it. And if I've got a bit of spare time, if the sun's shining, I will take it out. I'll get some photos, I'll get some video. But in terms of work,
it's going to elevate things massively, isn't it?
Yeah.
When I did I'm not certified, but I still fly safely. I do a lot of coastal stuff because it's the safest place to practice. And North definitely. Wales in generally has some of the most beautiful coastline in the entire UK.
I can't wait to get out there and
imagine, mate. Wait till we both go to Snowdon. I'll go up on the train because I'm not fit enough, and we'll go up and fly together. That'll be amazing to do. That.
I've heard stories about people working up Creve Gork, which is the pretty treacherous route up Snowdon, and they take like a Mavic 2 and they do a hand launch and a hand catch on the way back. But there's some of the footage people have got is just absolutely breathtaking.
The trick is, how when you pick a certain lens and you kind of know what you're going to get, where you say you've got like an 85mm lens on someone or a 50 or whatever, you kind of know what the frame's going to be. Once we all, I include myself in this, once we all figure out exactly what our drones are capable of, lens-wise and in terms of movement and all that, that's the kind of key thing is getting original shots and looking at other examples of what you can get. Like, I'm a big fan of the top-down, straight-down shot.
The bird's eye view, aerial view.
Yeah, and revealing things backwards and all that, because once you've got a drone shot and you're going forward, you've shown that you've shown your money shot already.
I'm trying to master the sort of controlling the gimbal and controlling the drone at the same time to get these nice reveal shots.
Yeah, I think some of those.
The gimbal sort of rotates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the little roller control for my, when you move the camera up and down. It's really tricky on mine. It's really tricky because it's a tiny controller.
Yeah, and just trying to get used to the sticks. If you want to go straight up with the drone, and it's trying to handle it so it doesn't veer off one way or the other. So it's all down to practice, man. And that's what I'm trying to do at the moment when I get a bit of time.
So the film that you shot for the festival, A View from Above, you took off from the back of your garden, didn't you, for that?
I did, yeah. So I made sure I was adhering to all the rules. I wasn't within 30 meters of anyone beyond my control. I got permission off the neighbours, so I stuck to the rules completely. But I took off from the back of my garden, and then I went 50 meters. Got
some beautiful shots in there, mate. And
I've
got to say, your exposure. Did you have NDs at all?
I did, yes. I bought the Polar Pro.
Oh, excellent.
So,
which set did you buy?
So it was I think the 4s, the 8s, and the 6Ds. I'm pretty sure.
I think that's the same as mine, or something
similar
to mine.
Bright weather, I use the 16s, and it just gives you that control over your shutter speed, and it's got a variable aperture as well on the Mavic 2, so you can sort of knock it all the way down to f11 or f12 if you want to, but apparently you lose sharpness at that.
I see. So okay.
They recommend about f2.8 to f4. So the NDs just give you that sort of control, so you can get the nice.
The reason I mentioned that is because I think your exposure is really lovely on the film, and we'll show one or two photos of it now. We won't show the whole film, so they'll pop up as we speak when I do the edit. And one of the things I wanted to kind of highlight was that tree that features. It's not a spoiler because your film's more of a mood piece more than a story or something.
Yeah, definitely.
I think if we show that now, I don't think it's a spoiler. So if people don't look at that now. It's this beautiful, almost like fantasy movie tree. You know what I mean? The way I described it to someone else was it's the tree from Game of Thrones that's white, that has the face that kind of drips blood. So I love that. I think that was really important in your film because because you are restrained in a lot of ways. Obviously, you know, you adhere to the rules and all that.
Yeah,
and,
that's it.
and there's only so much you can shoot within a given distance. Obviously, being safe and
And keeping the drone within line of sight and
exactly,
that,
yeah. And you learn obviously all that on your PFCO course. And
sure.
is what move did you do? Was it a pre-programmed mode around the tree because you got this really nice turn in it?
So I use one of the intelligent flight modes to do that. So there's one that's called point of interest, so you can actually fly over the object, or you can use a new feature which they've got now, where you can actually put your finger on the object on your smart device, you know, that you want it to fly around, and you tap it with your finger, and then the drone actually does a complete 360 around the object. So I used that intelligent flight mode for, so it did that perfect circle around the tree. And then you can also make it sort of pull further back and also go higher as well as it's flying around the tree.
What's that one called?
It's all good practice mode.
It's
so it does like a spiral and it sort of corkscrews up, but this is stuff that can be sort of applied to any number of
like just imagine a bride and groom. Imagine a bride and groom, and you're obviously prepped and you're doing it safely and all that.
I just wanted to
a spiral around a couple, like obviously safely and far away, but
yeah, sure. I wanted to give a bit of background. So the reason that I got these shots, I obviously wanted to make the film for yourself, but there was also I also do some sort of film stuff for the local community. So we've got like a community group in Trident, in the village where I live, and I wanted to sort of cheer people up a little bit, you know, because we're in this pandemic and there's a lot of negativity around at the moment. So I thought I'm going to post this video of Trident, because a lot of people here have never seen Trident from that angle before, you know.
Exactly.
So I put together a little 1 minute video with just some shots, and I also took some photos.
That's a lovely idea, man.
It was just I thought, I've got this new drone. I'm going to put some stuff out there on this Facebook channel for people to see. So I got a lot of good feedback from people. So, it was nice to see something a little bit positive, you know, in this.
That was pretty much the main reason that Chris and I started the festival, was because we wanted people to have somewhere to focus their kind of energies, positive or bad. And then we've had some really nice positive comments, and people are kind of finding new skills they never really had. Like we've had writers that write TV shows. We've had actors that have never directed anything. So we've had a real mix of films, animations. We like the podcast we just told you about, where an actress that's 10 years old, she had a dream. Her idea was in a dream, and then she told her mom, and then her mom found she knew this writer, and then the writer in South Africa wrote the film and offered to edit it.
That's amazing, isn't it?
So that's it. That was exactly it. And that's it's a positive buzz. You can have there is definitely positivity to come out of this situation. And
there's so much talent out there, you know. There's a lot of people,
huge untapped talent as well, you know.
I think a lot of people are quite busy, aren't they, in their day-to-day lives? And if one thing this pandemic has made us do is, you know, it's given us more time, isn't it? When we're not busy working, that is, we've got more time on our hands to be creative and to come up with new ideas. And so it's definitely got some positives. We've got to see the positives in it, because otherwise you'd spiral in a very negative way. You know? Definitely.
Especially when it comes to the everyday, because I struggled initially to get used to work. Like the first couple of days when I was working at home, because I had a bad internet connection to begin with, and that made me really frustrated. Because I think in our team, in LIS, the team we work for, I've got to say, you know, I of all the people I know at the university, we've all got a pretty, you know, very good high standard of work. And to try and keep that in a changed role we had was very difficult. So I found that really frustrating, because the internet is so important in
just
any
trying
kind
to
of
upload
job.
a video is a nightmare, isn't it? From home,
So you
took
were
me.
like, wasn't it taking you hours to upload? You were editing a TEDx or something?
I did one earlier this week, and it was a 1 hour award ceremony, but I uploaded it to YouTube as a premiere, and I thought I'll do it the day before, and I left it running 10 o'clock on, say, Wednesday night, and 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning, it was still at like 67%. It still hadn't uploaded. So it's,
What kind of connection do you have there?
It's meant to be fiber, but to be honest, it's complete rubbish.
That's not fiber. That shouldn't take that long. How big was the file, out of curiosity? How big was the actual file?
The file would have been about 8 gigabytes.
That should have finished, yeah.
Yeah, it was a 1080p, 1 hour video. So yeah, it was about 7 or 8 gigabytes. But it is a little bit frustrating when you could do that in work in 10 minutes and it'd be uploaded.
I know, because when university connections in general are exceptional, aren't they?
Super fast, yeah. But I think because everybody's on it, it's slowing it down, or at least that's my theory. But
yeah, when Vicky and I bought this house, I was in I'd say privileged position, because when you buy, this house was a shell. It really was. There was so much need to be done, because it was still the original 1954 house, officer house at the Dale Barracks. And in this particular, I ended up, I won't tell Vicky this, but the position where the Ethernet port is, it should have been over here. I should have made the decision to move it over here in the corner or go down. So, but we had where I do most of my work, and where Vicky's going to produce some work as well, because she's going to end up working at home soon as well, is we had Ethernet put in this room, and they put a female port on the wall here, and one literally this far away from the router on the wall inside the cupboard. So it's a tiny little cable. Then there's this cable to the switcher I bought. I bought a Netgear switcher, and straight to the PC. So in terms of the connection I've got, it's not fiber optic. So it's not fiber, but it's consistent and it's pretty decent, because it's plugged in. And when I was upstairs and I started doing our support for the University of Chester, like both of us do, I find it incredibly frustrating, because the Wi-Fi in the house was terrible, because I have one of these little TP-Link dongles, and it was driving me crazy, man. So
it's not best, is it?
All they did is they chased the wall out, they put the cable in, we filled the wall, we plastered it, and then you wouldn't even know where the cables were. So they put this trunking inside the wall, and they routed the cable through the loft areas and under the floorboards before carpets were fitted. And then that's how we got the cable all the way there. Yeah. So I think if you're struggling with internet, generally, then you're in a tough position, because I can't imagine,
I had a chat with one of our colleagues before, and it was like, 10 years ago, you probably wouldn't have been able to do this the same as
no chance.
People with slow internet, dial up or whatever, it just wouldn't have happened, would it? But Teams and Zoom and Skype and stuff, it's just it's so much easier, isn't it? But
exactly,
it would have been a completely different scenario, wouldn't it? Just keep
it never would have happened.
Family as well would,
I don't. To be honest, would we have gone into lockdown the same way? We possibly not. That's a really good question. 10 years ago, what would have, or 20 years ago, maybe 10 years might have been okay, but 20 years ago, it'd be such a difficult thing to achieve, to teach, to learn, to do any kind of work, and have no real internet connection. No chance at all. Like entertainment as well, like people that aren't working but are at home and safe and all with family.
Hey,
there's entertainment left, right, and center on the internet now.
Well, that's it. You can't get away from it. But
that's why I need a giant Blu-ray collection, or like if my internet goes down, I'll just disappear over to my mum and dad's house and go and get my Blu-ray collection, which is over there. You know what I mean?
Oh, excellent.
So I just wanted to tell you that we really appreciate you submitting a film, Lee, because I was kind of pressing you a little bit to submit something, but I think you've come up with something really nice, and no one else in all the 49, let me check, 49 submissions, you're the only one to have an aerial film. There's an animated thing with ducks that looks like a painting.
Yeah. Oh,
but, yeah, I've shown it to a couple of people now. We've had some beautiful films and really well written.
I
know
can't
what I mean?
wait to see them. It sounds really, really interesting.
Yeah, so I don't think I've told you this, that we've got two artists. One's called Tamsin, and they're both from Cornwall. I think it's James and Tamsin. And they're designing posters for every single film. Now, I know that's a lot of work, and I've tried to alleviate any pressure in time, saying if you can finish them, then great, but you can take 6 months doing them. That's not a problem. So we've got another designer who's putting a festival poster together of all the films, and what they're doing is they're taking an element from every film and putting it on the poster. So it'd be like a Where's Wally?
Yeah, there's a lot of work.
Exactly, yes. So we're going to send those out. So you're going to get a copy of a one sheet of your film poster and a one sheet of the festival. So it'd be like a nice little keepsake and a little thank you to everyone that submitted,
Definitely. No, I think it's a fantastic thing that you're doing, Alex, with this film festival. And,
it's keeping me sane, man.
It's keeping you sane. It's keeping you busy. That's one thing.
Oh my God, the amount of editing I've got to do. Because what I do, just in case you're curious, what I do with this Zoom call is, obviously you can't see that it switches, but Zoom does intelligent switching on the dominant voice.
Yes.
So if you're saying something and I laugh loudly, it'll switch to me for a couple of seconds.
Right.
So I actually replace all my shots with my Blackmagic camera, and that's what I do. So it is a fair bit of work, but I quite enjoy it because I'm meeting some great people, and obviously I speak to you every week, but it's always good to speak to you, and I've quite enjoyed doing this process, and I've met some really, really interesting people, and networking wise, you meet people from all over.
Have you got to edit this down now to like 20 minutes? Or?
Oh no, there's none of that, mate. The way I do it is, Francesca McQuillan, Matt's daughter.
Yes.
She created an animation, and that was 6 minutes, that podcast.
Yeah.
And I did one the other day. There was almost 2 hours, and that was with a filmmaker in Canada, because he loved horror, I love horror, and we were just talking, you know what I mean? Like me and you, with like two fellas talking about tech or geek stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was only because the limitation of my 250 gig SSD is the only reason I stopped.
You ran out of space.
Yeah, but now that Zoom have dropped their generosity, you've only got 40 minutes before you have to kind of stop, because it stops the recording as well. So I need the Zoom. What happens is, have you done a Zoom call before?
We did a quiz with Alan Smith on Saturday.
Awesome.
They didn't kick us off. We were on for ages. Like, we were on for about 2 hours.
Maybe it's because I've scheduled so many. Maybe it's that.
Yeah,
because we're doing at least 5 podcasts a week, and I've run out of storage space.
Yeah, it's a lot of storage.
It's a lot of extra work. Yeah. So we're releasing episodes once a week. But we might release them 2 a week. I don't know yet, because we've got. I think you're the 20th person to be on the podcast. I'd love to have every single filmmaker on, which would be a nice kind of record to go along with their film.
Yeah.
But obviously that's difficult, and people will be less free when the lockdown ends. So I'll hopefully schedule those in at weekends.
Try and get them in now. Yeah. Well,
exactly. Yeah, scheduling's interesting, especially when you're dealing with Australia or whatever. So they're 10 hours ahead. So
it is, almost 12 hours ahead, isn't it?
So a few days ago, I spoke to a filmmaker called Mitchell. He's only 18, and his film's super mature, and it's like an Australian drama. It's for three points of view about this girl they all knew in different ways. One's a sister, one's a brother, one's a boyfriend, and one's a other boyfriend of this girl. And it's such a mature film for an 18-year-old. And I was like super. He did such a good job. So I thought, right, 10 hours ahead. What time do I set that? So I woke up at 10. I think it was on Tuesday this week, and he was at 8 o'clock at night. So that's how he ended up
So
doing
it's
it.
morning for you and night time for
I was in my PJs. He was ready for bed.
Yeah. No,
So
I've got a friend in Australia. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
But,
So
other side of the world.
I've bought more gear over the last 7 weeks than I've bought in a year. It's been
Amazon
mental.
are rubbing their hands together, aren't they, since this lockdown?
Yeah, microphones, wipes.
Because like the high street's practically closed down, isn't it? So they've got no competition now. It's like,
their share price must be crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
so delivery drivers are super busy at the minute. But
I replaced my audio interface because the preamps were terrible.
Oh.
So I used an SSL2 just through a recommendation from you and that we both know.
Yeah.
Ewan and Chris. And I bought a new this microphone. I bought the arm for the microphone.
It's very professional looking.
And then it's this light box, mate. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's 47 inches across, this light box.
Wow, it's a nice soft light on you though. It's
Yeah, no, that's it, man. And it's got a nice catch light as well. And I'm using a Amaran at the back just for a bit of extra spot here and just a tiny bit of something else.
Yeah.
And I bought you might be interested, but obviously we all go, like, for other professionals watching as well, we all buy gear at different spots when we need it, when it's broken, or something that leads our interest, like video wise, when we're interested in image, what's the best lens we can get for our budget? What's the best camera? And I thought I was lagging behind in terms of light. I've got some better audio gear now, but I was lagging in better lights.
Yeah.
So my two Amarans that I've got are good, but you know the whole score.
Well, I've got these things at the minute, and they're not the best, but you can see.
They're the same ones I've got. Yeah, they're the two Amarans. Yeah.
They give a nice light.
Aperture lights.
Apertures, that's the one. They need to be higher up, really, but this is my makeshift.
That's fine, mate. Yeah,
I'm not quite up to your.
That's all right.
Your standards.
Hey, I've got no carpet. There's no door on this room, so I think you beat me there.
Yeah, but you can't see that, so you're all right.
That's the reason I've pointed it this way. If anyone's interested, look at earlier Instagram videos of the festival, and you'll see the washing machine that way. So this light I bought was it's a Godox SL60W, and it was I think it was £180, and it's an LED light, but there's no heat coming off it. I brought my ARRI lights from my folks' house I've had for years there, and the light stands are excellent. But
the halogens are there?
Holy shit, they're hot. I set one up in here.
They're crazy, aren't they?
I put gel on it. And it was, you have to wear gloves for ARRI lights. ARRI lights are the cinema standard in terms of some of the other panels. But it was horrible, mate. It was like a sweatshop in here.
You think how inefficient they are. They're kicking off so much heat. You could heat a house with them. They're crazy. I mean, I don't know if you remember the redheads as well. They were like that. They were like that. Inefficient. I mean, they were bright.
Exactly, yeah. Bright. So I bought this Godox light, and it was budget, but it's really good. And before the softbox arrived, and I thought, do I go with the 55-inch softbox? So it's a softbox with two diffusers in, and then this kind of vignette that's on the wall. Yeah, that's not created by this Amaran. This is created by this, because it's got this honeycomb pattern you put on, this Velcro.
Yes, yeah.
And the way it works with the way it guides the light. Yeah, and it kills off the light, so there's no kind of doesn't look like a big star light. Yeah. Exactly. So I put that in, and it fucking dwarfs the corner of the room. It's ridiculous. But before this arrived, this light box, I just bounced it off the ceiling, the light, and I turned it down to like 20%, and it gives a really nice light. Really, really chuffed with it. No, it does. This is if you ever get one, get it with this. Right. Oh, a little remote controller. Yeah, so you don't have to go to the back of the light. So this light's in the corner of the room as far as possible. Yeah, you can change your temperature on this. You can change your percentage. I think you've highlighted how important lighting is, with film and video, because it just makes such a difference, doesn't it? Huge. And I was speaking to Tegan and I think it's Lauren and Neil and Jen, and on this last podcast for a film called Dark Closet, and they were just, obviously the rules are you've got to, everything in your house, you can buy new gear if you want to, but you can use available light or your own phone or camera or whatever, and within your own grounds safely. And that was the rules.
They were the rules for you.
Exactly, yeah. So they were talking about, I asked them, well, how did you light certain situations and all that? And they were just using available lighting. They were talking about their makeshift rigs. And, sometimes you get some fantastic results, but you got to really think how you're going to achieve a certain setup. You get super creative, don't you? When you're kind of forced to sometimes.
So you can use what you've got available to you, so desk lamps or...
Exactly, yeah.
Light fittings in the house.
So before I bought this new light, I had my grandfather's architect light, his angle poise from I think that's from 1950, this angle poise, right? It needs proper rewiring. It's rewired, but you can get angle poise rewiring where it looks better, and they repaint it and all that. In Toy Story 2 where Woody gets fixed, that's what this lamp's going to get at some point. It's not cheap to do, but I'm going to get it done. So what I was doing is I had it here, just off desk here. I was pointing it myself, and I had natural light. I had light leak everywhere. So this is the darkest point of the day, obviously, because it's evening. And I was thinking, right, where my light sources come from, because I've got two monitors here, the one I'm looking at you on, then the big one, and then others and all that. So I had my angle poise, and the only thing I had to do to make the shot look pretty decent, so if you go back about 4 episodes, you'll see the light's completely different, was white balance it to the main light that was hitting my face. And once I did that with my X-Rite card, I don't know where it is. It was great because the camera massive, mate. You know the deal. When your white balance is wrong, it's like, oh no, I've got to change that now in post.
Well, these are all set to daylight white balance, 5600, but it's a nice light off them, but I think they're a little bit harsh. My face this is 5600, and doesn't matter what time of day, I don't need to change this light. I haven't white balanced this camera since I bought this light. So when you've got consistent lighting where it's not going to change, huge, and it's you got to invest in the right gear. You can't just buy the best camera, because if you've got the best camera and you don't light it or have the decent sound, then the product's going to be terrible, isn't it? I think so. As you say, sound as well. A lot of amateurs, they overlook sound, don't they? And they might have fantastic pictures but really crappy sound. So I mean, you've got quite a good microphone now, which you're speaking into. So I mean,
it makes a difference.
It makes such a difference. Definitely.
And that's something I kind of, you're right. A lot of people just almost think, I can fix it later. I can sort it later. It'll sound all right, but no.
And there is a big difference, and that sort of separates the pros from the amateurs.
I'd say so. It's not necessarily having the gear; it's the application of it and the understanding and appreciation, and you try and push yourself as far as you can on all avenues of your video production.
You don't all the gear, no idea, do you? That's
all the gear and no idea. I like that. That should be a T-shirt. That's a T-shirt. That.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think you did the wise thing, purchasing and doing your PFCO, because I think you elevate when you get the chance after lockdown, you'll really elevate your work and your standard and everything. And and based on your film, Lee, I think you've started off very well, mate.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely get out. The two of us will go to Snowdonia around North Wales.
See if I can survive that.
And we'll we'll get some shots.
Definitely.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's good fun as well, isn't it? When you what was that like? I'll love you and leave you in a few minutes because I want to kind of keep you all night. But what was it like when you got your first shot you're really proud of? It's a pretty nice feeling, isn't it?
It is. I mean, to be honest, the drone is so steady and it's got a stabilized camera on it. So I'd like to say that it's really difficult to get a good shot, but it isn't. Because you can fly that drone in winds, 30 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour winds, and it's still as solid as a rock. It's so easy to fly. Compare that to drones from a few years ago, where you couldn't fly it in high winds. It was, it'd be all over the place. And so, yeah, I was really chuffed. I saw these shots. I thought, oh, they look fantastic. But I've also learned, what not to do as well. When it can go wrong. Like, you can't fly into the sun because that makes the collision sensors kick in. And I've learned so much, during this lockdown period, just from going out and sort of experimenting and trying different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice feeling to actually bring the footage back, look at it and think, wow, that looks absolutely fantastic.
Even when you put stock color on it and you don't do the D flat or whatever.
Yeah. So that's what I didn't mention, because I shot the whole thing in the D-Log profile, which is like a very flat color profile, and then graded it. But you can just shoot it in the sort of normal mode, which doesn't require any sort of post-processing or color grading or anything like that, and it still looks pretty good,
doesn't it? Yeah, that was a big surprise for me. It was the D-Log. Is it D-Log, isn't it? It looks so good even without any color work on it. It's great.
Yeah, no, it is fantastic, and
especially on your camera, because yours is the Mavic Pro 2, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. I mean, we shot the thing for the thing at the Chester, the Green Chester Awards, and then I shot that using one of the intelligent flight modes, and that didn't have any sort of flat profile. It was just the normal profile. It gives you like a 1080 video at the end of it.
Yeah,
and that was the asteroid shot, wasn't it? So it was
that's right. Yeah,
waved at it, and then the drone takes off, and then it does like a spherical thing where you see the Earth. It's quite a cool effect. But that's a complete automated process. You press a button on the drone, and it does everything for you. It stitches all the pictures together, and then you just upload it to Facebook or whatever. And it's
pretty sweet, that, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. It's very clever. The people who come up with it. It's definitely a good creative tool. Definitely.
Yeah, that's it. You can't force it, and we're all trying to master what we do, and you can get to a certain level. And I'm just trying to keep my shots, like you have as well, as simple as possible to kind of aid the story or aid the video you're producing. And I think people think they need to overcomplicate it or try and do a fancy shot or whatever.
Yeah, I think a lot of the people who are maybe not used to sort of video work and film work, they may do quite mechanical moves and include that in the edit where that looks pretty terrible. You and me, we know to keep it nice and smooth and cinematic and do nice reveal shots, tracking shots. But yeah, I try and avoid all that sort of stuff. Because
I know, exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do when lockdown finishes. I'm going to go to Llyn Idwell again. I can't remember what time of the year I went last time because I released a little thing on YouTube with but my color grading was shocking then because I was using my Blackmagic camera. The shots were lovely, really proud of them, but the color grading was terrible because of my understanding of how flat profiles work. I have a much greater understanding now. I created my own LUTs for this. So what you're seeing is the LUT on the camera. It's flat, but it's got the profile on it. So when I put it on the camera, it's going to look exactly the same because the LUT's on both things. So it's not baked in, but it's on there. So that's what you can see.
Yeah. I've got the same on the Mavic 2. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite clever.
So I'm going to go to Llyn Idwell again and take my drone and shoot the hell out of that place because that is an incredible.
Apparently, flying over water. If you get too close to the water,
it makes you think it's land, doesn't it?
The sensors on the bottom see through the water if it's too calm, and it can nosedive into the water. So watch out for that.
I have flown over water already, and it did come up with a warning about do you want to land? I was like, right, let's fly up, let's fly away from the water now. Yeah. So I know it's crazy, and I crashed my drone the first day I had it at home, my mum and dad's house before I moved here. Right. Oh yeah, I crashed against the wall, mate. I lost 2 blades. The blades were split. I scratched the body of my drone, honestly. Only time I've crashed it is the first day I had it, because I was doing something stupid with it.
Yeah.
And like
the
really dumb.
Sensor didn't kick in or anything.
Oh no! I took off in a really compromised place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really dumb. It was really dumb. So since then, I've been like a ninja. But I've flown over water a good few times because I thought, right, I'm going to push myself. I've flown over not white squalls, not quite white squalls, but quite low over surf water as well.
Yeah,
and it's been. You
you
may have seen one or two of the videos, but it's you really got to push yourself as well. And I think it's not being cocky, but it's what you want. It's the kind of shot you want. I think that's important.
Yeah, and I think the more practice you get, the more confident you get with it, and the better you get with it as well. So you're able to do these sorts of more risque shots, and you need to do that to get to get these really nice reveals. You need to fly close to, say, a tree or something, or a wall. And that's all down to practice and confidence.
In Dreamland, mate, I'd have I think there's a new Matrice now, but it doesn't take other cameras. I think there's a built-in mega camera with it.
Yeah.
I'd want a Matrice, which is a bigger drone, and put a DJI, I think it's a Ronin M. You can put gimbal on it, and you can put like Red cameras or Sony cameras. I want to put my camera, this camera, on a drone. That's what I want to get to, but it's an expensive. Like going up to Clint Idwell with a little drone in a bag is great now, but if you go up with a beast of a thing, it's quite
how small this is. I mean, I'm not trying to advertise the DJI or anything like that, but it's so
tiny though. They do make the best drones. It's as simple as that.
Fold down and it can go in a. It can't quite go in your pocket, but it can go.
And you can be very discreet with it as well. If you're very naughty, like I am.
So it is very discreet.
When you go on like coastal stuff, exactly. It's you can do whatever you want. You can take it wherever.
Yeah, and it's quiet as well. Yeah, you can. For a lot of the older drones, it was so noisy. It sounded like a hornet's nest coming at you. But these things are much quieter. So
I think.
Definitely improving.
Yeah, like I think DJI have kind of what are the other ones called? The white ones are
the Phantom.
Yeah, the bigger ones. Yeah, this is definitely superseded. The Mavic line has superseded those in a huge way. But I think it's only going to benefit having something like that, Lee. I think. And I think when people see your film, I think they'll be really impressed with the image as well. The image off your camera is great, and I think you did a very good job with it. And I'm very thankful. I'm glad you added music as well. I thought that it really elevated the entire thing. It wasn't just a sequence of shots. It was kind of elevated by that.
Quite it was a bit of a builder, the music that I used for it, and I thought it reflected the mood pretty well. It starts off a little bit slow, and then it sort of builds, and I think it's quite positive. It's quite nice.
Totally.
My wife listened to it and she said it sounded a little bit depressing. So I think it's loved it. Personal preference. I personally liked it, but it's. I actually use different music for the video that I put out.
Locally,
for the local group, something a little bit more sort of, I say positive, but it was a little bit brighter.
It suited your audience, that one, I bet. More so than
for this film entry, I wanted something a little bit more sort of atmosphere, and I think it just suited it perfectly. So.
Very cool, mate. I really appreciate you taking your time to come on the podcast as well. And when people see a film, I think they'll be really impressed, and more power to you. And I'll probably see you next week then on another Teams call or something. Yeah,
see you on Teams. Yeah. You take care of yourself, mate. Anyway.
Yeah, you too, mate. I'll see you soon. I'll keep you up to date when we're really going to release your episode. And if you want to send me a photograph. I've probably got a few of you from website stuff before.
Yeah.
But if you want to send me a photo you prefer for marketing purposes, when we start to talk about you as a filmmaker and when we're going to release the podcast, if you can send a preferred photo, even if it's like a production one like we've done before,
yeah.
even I may have taken or whatever, that's more than acceptable. Send that over, and it can help market you and your film.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Alex. Sounds good.
Right. You enjoy the rest of the evening and say hello to Violet and your missus for me.
Yeah, you too, mate. Say hello to Vicky, and I'm going to get myself another.
Get another beer, mate.
Beer. So
that's what I'm going to do as well.
Have a nice night, anyway.
You too. See you later.
Yeah. See you later, mate.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers.